Welcome to the Deucecast Extra. We are here to discuss the Mandalorian Chapter 5, The Gunslinger. I am Mikey Calacan. Next to me, to my right, is one Finnick Earl. How you doing, Earl?
Hey, Calacan Mikey, good to see you. Or Mikey Calacan.
That's
nice
right.
To see you.
And then on the screen below Earl and myself is Pit Droid Ryfin. I love it. And you got to experience some Star Wars in the theaters this evening, didn't you, Garrison?
Yeah, I did. We rented out a theater for 20 people, which you can do for $100 here at our local theater, and we watched Empire Strikes Back. I left before the credits hit because I wanted to make sure I was back here in time.
And we appreciate that. And we
but you know, I mean, I've seen Empire so many times. I didn't really miss a whole lot, you know, aside from the send off at the end, essentially. But
there wasn't a trailer stinger or anything.
No, right? No, and there's no. Well, yeah, yeah. There's no Back to the Future 2 trailer stinger.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, Melissa? Thanks for joining us tonight.
In the house.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining. And then so this was the 40th anniversary, obviously, of Empire. Now, did they do anything like special for it before the film or anything like that?
So it was weird. Beforehand, they played the thing they play before they start the movie, which is weird because they usually play it. Our theater, okay, so they've got like they start the trailers and then they play this thing right before the movie. That's like a Georgia Theater Company thing, and then they play the movie. And this time they did that before the trailers, so I was surprised to see trailers.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We had, you know, Black Widow, which said it was coming out in November.
Nope.
And then we had Bond, which said it was coming out in November.
No, yeah.
It was like, oh no. And then it hit us with like a 5 or 6 minute little kind of historical look at Empire Strikes Back, and
that's cool.
Kind of the way it happened. You know, they were discussing Lucas trying to negotiate the full rights to the film because, as we know, Fox owned the full rights to Episode 4, which is why Lucasfilm there was kind of a Disney didn't own the rights to Episode 4, I guess, fully, and so now they do. But yeah, it was just an interesting discussion, and how Irving Kershner got on board to the film, and how he almost didn't take the film until his agent almost called him an idiot for not taking the film.
Oh wow!
Well, he was thinking, you know, they might disappoint with the second film, and after a big film like that, you know, he didn't know that he wanted to sign on to that, and then obviously Empire became what it was.
So yeah, I mean, was this archival footage or was this a new interview?
It was like a guy sitting in a chair with a poster behind him, the 40th anniversary poster to the side of him. Really.
Okay.
And I think that was and just discussing the history of Empire.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
was it anybody we recognized, or did you recognize the guy?
See, when it first started, I was outside of the theater.
Oh, okay.
So I had just made a run to get some snacks.
Gotcha.
So
now you said you rented out the theater for 20 people. Did you know all 20 people that were there?
I know most of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're family and friends, Mason.
Oh, okay.
Mainly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's a cool thing to be able to do. We had that for a little while until all the theaters actually opened up for real. I mean, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 theaters in town you can still rent out for that, but it's a good deal.
Yeah, with how things are happening and all the movies moving back, we're not going to be getting a lot of movies. The movies we are going to be getting aren't big earners.
No.
Yeah, I think it's great to be able to pull in audiences and pull in for renting these theaters for classic films, but also if you want to watch a new film, it's $200. So if you want to watch Tenet, you can watch Tenet for $200 at the theater with up to 20 people.
Wow, that's a bargain.
Yeah, that's $10 a person essentially.
That's a bargain.
It's not IMAX, though, probably.
Well, no, it's not an IMAX. But that particular.
No, they're not renting the. We have a large format, but they're not renting that one out. In fact, they're not doing any showings on it as of this week. So
wow,
yeah, it's just, you know, the way things are right now.
Yeah, the biggest change here is the theater closest to my house has gone to just weekends only. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday only.
They have gone. Ours went to, as of this week, went to Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Interesting.
So I guess they were seeing business on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, and this is the only theater in town that I looked it up, and this is the only one in town that's going to 3-day. But I imagine the rest of them will eventually have to go to 3 days a week.
Well, I don't even go to AMC's. We occasionally do when we go down to Jacksonville to go see something in IMAX, and I may go down there on October 19th to see Memories of Murder. I don't know yet, but it is coming to Jacksonville.
That's interesting.
Wow.
But they sent me a questionnaire that was like, how do you feel about renting out movies, and would you go see if we did essentially what my town is doing? So I wouldn't be surprised if they go down to 3-day weekends and rentals for movies.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Well, I mean, we're here obviously to talk about chapter 5, called The Gunslinger, which is a great title for anything Star Wars related. And just to do our normal datapad download, this one was directed by Dave Filoni, so that was awesome. This was the second episode directed by Dave Filoni in season 1, and then of course, as always, written by Jon Favreau. And it was a cool episode because we knew we were getting some interesting guest stars in this before it came out. So that was a cool thing, just to know that you were going to get some Disney family members, in fact, in this particular episode. In Ming-Na Wen, she has been
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, and Mulan. She was the voice of Mulan back in the day, so she's been in and around Disney stuff for a long time. In fact, she had a cameo in the new Mulan as well.
I tend to think of this as a Lucasfilm thing. Let's not.
Well, look, Lucas is Disney now, man. You can't deny it anymore.
Can't I just forget that part?
No, you can't. No, that's part of it, man.
It's a very important part now.
To watch it. So.
It is a very important part now. And one thing that we forgot to mention, that I should have mentioned in the first episode that we did this, is the cool little intro that they've created for all their Star Wars shows, where it sort of does all the helmets.
I really like that.
And the reason they're doing that is they're probably going to have that for the Marvel shows. So I guess
they'll probably have a different Marvel intro.
Different Marvel intro. So I figure that just to distinguish it from their other stuff, they'll have like a cool little, hey, this is a Disney Plus Disney Star Wars show, and here's the little intro that we're doing. So I thought that was pretty cool. Oh yeah, and Melissa pointed out ER cast members. Yeah, exactly. I love that. That's right. And then also, unfortunately, Jake Cannavale is in this.
Okay,
Bobby Cannavale's son,
and also Sidney Lumet, his grandson.
Sidney Lumet's grandson. Wait, Cannavale? What? They're related. Yeah. Sidney Lumet.
I believe it's his mom's side.
Oh, okay, yeah. On his mom's side, I don't think they're together anymore.
The Cannavales, or
he married Bobby Cannavale married Sidney Lumet's granddaughter.
Oh, I see. Okay,
yeah.
Son. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. That's interesting. I'd forgotten about that, but yeah. Oh man, Toro Calican.
So
what a character.
Episode starts off with a bang, right? With the gun shootout in space.
Yeah, and he uses Mando's line against him.
And Mando even alludes to that. That's my line.
That's my line, and he does the whole drop back and doesn't he ram the guy? No, he drops back and then shoots him, right?
Well, and then the guy skims over the top of him because he does the brake thing, the Top Gun thing, where you do the brakes and then the guy goes over you. It's a very Top Gun move, basically. There's a lot of gunslinging in many different ways going on in this particular episode. But yeah, I thought that was a cool scene. I wish they would have put somebody I wish they would have done another fun little cameo as that bounty hunter. That would have been cool.
Random dude, yeah. But I mean, yeah.
I guess everybody can't have a cameo. I mean, they've had a lot of them in this season, which we're going to get a lot in next season also. But
he was probably one of the production designers or something. So.
Oh, sure, yeah. But that was cool to get to see a little. I mean, and that's the only kind of dogfight we see in The Mandalorian. There's of course the X-wings that just blow up the
X-wings next time, but
yeah, but it's not really a dogfight. I mean, this was really kind of the only like space battle we saw.
right,
and it looked good. I mean, I have to imagine obviously that they're using all CG with all of that. I mean, but
yeah,
it looked really good. I mean,
yeah, it really did.
I don't know if they're again using that whole Real Engine type looking stuff that they use for video games, but this looked way better than a video game to me. I mean, I don't know.
It was good for a TV production. I was like, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one of the things I was worried about with the Star Wars show was the budget for making things work. I mean, when I was a kid and I heard about the rumblings for Star Wars Underworld, that kind of stuff, I was always kind of worried about how it would look on TV compared to how it looks on the big screen.
Yeah,
and I'm glad it looks pretty good.
Yeah. Now I know you've got the projector and stuff. Have you guys watched it on that yet?
Yeah, we watched pretty much every episode on there. I mean, Dad and I would watch it on our iPads in the morning. He gets up at 3. I get up whenever. Whenever I have time. If I don't have time, sometimes I watch it when I get back from school. But And then at night, Mom would go, "Let's watch Mandalorian." So that's what would happen.
So what is that? A 70-inch or
100-inch?
100-inch. That's right. And it's is it 4K projector? Have you upgraded yet?
It's just a 1080p. But it's it still gets. We don't have any 4K players or 4K Roku devices at all yet. So
yeah, I've got the one 4K Roku device on the 4K TV, and oh man, it looks so good on that. I wish it was big. It's only a 50-inch. I wish it was a little. I'd love to have a 70-inch, but I mean that it looks great. The show just looks great. It reminded me a lot of like the BSG space fights, like Battlestar Galactica, the new one, not the old one, obviously.
I've never seen it.
Oh gosh, it is a great show, and
I've seen the old one.
Yeah, I'm sure every time somebody, I can't believe your dad. Well, I can believe your dad doesn't want to watch it.
Yeah,
but
he doesn't.
It's good. The space,
he's a purist.
He's a purist. Yeah, the space fight scenes in the new BSG you have to imagine the budget's not huge, but they look really good.
Yeah,
I mean, am I right, Earl? I mean, they look really good. I mean, and so this harkened to that. I mean, and again,
better than that though. Even
you think it was even better? I mean, I thought it was close. But I guess maybe they're pouring a lot more money into these episodes than we know. It's not one thing that they ever really.
This is when Disney had money. Before everything went.
Well, yeah, this was when Disney had money, but I mean, they're probably. I think we did hear at some point that each episode was 2 million or something. I think we did actually hear that at some point.
Was that in the gallery episodes or something?
Oh,
I don't know if it was in the gallery, but I thought that that information came out at some point, how much they were spending on each of these episodes. So it looks good. It was a good space fight scene. I mean, I liked it. It was cool. But I mean, it damaged the crap out of the Razor Crest. I mean, the Razor Crest basically had to make a crash landing on Tatooine.
Yes.
Which we're back on Tatooine. We just can't seem to get away from it.
That's all right.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Fan service.
Little fan, some fan love there. And he goes to Docking Bay 35. Which I'm sure there is some significance somewhere to why they picked 35, but I have no idea. And I did not research to find out what it could be. But we meet an interesting little character. What's her name, Earl?
Peli Motto?
I don't even remember her saying her name.
She did.
Okay.
She did one time when she was talking to Baby Yoda. She said, "Let me come take care of you," or whatever. But yeah, I mean, and like Melissa says, Amy Sedaris, she's great. I mean, this is an actress for me that I know from a long time ago on Comedy Central with Strangers with Candy. She has been around for a long time, so I thought it was really cool to see her in there.
I mean, it was fine. It didn't blow me away, but
no, I mean, no,
to do, I don't think. But
no, they didn't give her much to do. I mean, it's very similar to a lot of the other cameos of people in this series. I mean, they don't give them to. I mean, I think Bill Burr is probably the most recognizable that had more to do than any of these other.
That's next episode.
And that's
Should
next
be.
episode, yeah. It is, yeah. The prison escape. But so he and he's hurting for cash. He only has 500 Imperial credits left. So he's
Imperial credits.
Well, she took him though. She had no problem.
Cool.
She had no problem taking him.
She's got a whole squad of pit droids.
Bunch of pit droids.
Pit droids.
It's good to see the pit. Look, I mean that's some prequel trilogy stuff there.
Yeah,
I love it. I mean, a prequel trilogy rearing its wonderful head. I love the prequel trilogy.
Weren't they
wonderful?
Well, and then they did put them in the special edition.
I was about to say, weren't they introduced in the special edition in '97? I do have a copy of the '97 one.
Maybe they were. Maybe you're right.
They came wandering out on the screen, and I don't know.
Yeah, in Tatooine when they're riding by on the speeder, I think they're there.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. That's interesting. I wonder if they specifically did that because they knew they were going to have them in episode 1.
Probably tie-in.
Yeah, I mean,
everything's interconnected.
They've got to have that quick tie-in. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Pit droids have been around much longer than we can imagine. even though they weren't there in the original Empire Strikes Back, they were added. That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, so he's needing to get his ship repaired, and again, he's the just anti-droid man. He just does not.
I wonder what his beef is with droids. Do we? Well,
that's.
We know why. I mean, they killed his parents.
Yeah. Not just that. The whole universe has a kind of an issue with droids. I mean, throughout the series of Star Wars, there's been a lot of droid hate. In fact, kind of comes around when you get to Mos Eisley Cantina, which we're coming up on, obviously, when there is a droid bartender now.
Things have changed.
Yeah, which is ironic.
Well, and I think isn't that EV9 or what? It's the same droid that was in Return of the Jedi. That was he was torturing all the other characters. He was torturing all the other droids. Yeah, it's supposed to be the same droid. And the other really cool Easter egg is Mark Hamill does the voice.
Oh wow! Okay,
in this episode, yeah.
Oh, so really? I don't think I knew that. Okay.
I mean
remember that.
That came out afterwards. I mean, after the season had ended, and then I think like this year or very early in the year, he said that was his voice in it. So, he's catching up.
Uncredited.
He's catching up to, and probably obviously won't ever surpass, but catching up to Anthony Daniels with the amount of appearances in Star Wars movies, because he also voices a character in Solo. I think he's not in Rogue One, but he does voice a character in Solo also. So it's he's trying to get in on Anthony Daniels with his number of appearances in a Star Wars film there. Because I think Anthony Daniels has been in all of them or whatever. So, I mean, that's never going to be beat.
Is he in Solo?
He's actually in it. Like he's in it as a character somewhere, not just a voice. I think
Anthony Daniels is.
Yeah, he's in.
Wow.
He's in the same scene as Clint Howard's character in like the fight where the droids are fighting. He's in that scene somewhere, I think.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's in it. He's definitely in it. He's got to be in all the Star Wars films.
Maintain your SAG card.
Yeah, maintain the SAG card exactly. So so Mando gives her the 500 credits or whatever, and goes about his business. He shows up at the cantina and asking for work,
and he meets.
So here's what's interesting, though. The droid says, and I try and pick up on all these little interesting things since this is like the 4th time I'm watching this. The droid says that there's no guild work this far out, or maybe did he specifically say on Tatooine? Because the huts are gone, I guess, is maybe what's going on.
Well, maybe the
Good question.
Guild come to that area.
Well, no, the
huts are gone.
The huts are probably gone, I'm guessing, at this point. I mean,
Jabba was killed.
Yeah.
Bunch of, like in Clone Wars, doesn't he have a bunch of...
Well, there's a bunch of huts, but Jabba was killed in Return of the Jedi. So yeah, I think once you kill Jabba, you know.
Yeah, how many of...
They blew up one skiff. It's a big planet.
How many of them are gangsters, though? I mean, they could all be doing all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah. They're all doing all kinds of stuff. I mean,
take of the head, another one pops up.
Well, exactly. I mean, and I'm guessing at this time, this is so they've got that Tatooine sheriff guy is Cobb Vanth is probably hanging around also, which we assume for season 2 that Timothy Oliphant is playing Cobb Vanth, which is like the sheriff of Freetown.
No.
So, are we assuming not to skip? I mean, well, to skip ahead a little bit.
We're skipping ahead a lot, yeah.
Is that the guy we're assuming is at the end of the episode with the spurs, or is that Boba Fett?
I've heard that. Well,
so there's a lot. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Let's talk about that when we get there. But I'm just talking about it because we know that Timothy Oliphant's been cast.
Mm-hmm.
That's been kind of.
We're going back to Tatooine.
It's kind of been confirmed today, as we're recording, which is on October 3rd, obviously, since we're live here. There was some like Disney Plus Denmark released an Instagram story that mentioned the fact that Timothy Oliphant and Rosario Dawson were confirmed as, and that's the first official anything from Disney. Not that I trust Disney Denmark, and maybe it was an accident, but we do know that he's in it, basically. I mean, and the rumor is that he's Cobb Vanth, which is the sheriff of Freetown, which is a town on Tatooine, basically.
Is that from a book or something, or is that?
It is, yeah. So in the Aftermath novels, this character is introduced that bought this armor from some Jawas that got it from the wreckage of, the pit of Sarkoon or whatever.
The armor is Boba Fett's, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, that's.
So it's not going to be really Boba Fett.
But that's the thing is, what's his name's already been confirmed. What is his name?
Tamara Morrison.
Yes.
Tamara Morrison's been confirmed.
Ozzy Nate's pounding his desk.
Yeah. Confirmed.
What's the clone trooper called?
Well, he could be Rex, but I mean, on that casting page in his country, it says that he was playing Boba Fett in it. Now that has not been confirmed by Disney, though.
Hasn't been confirmed by Disney,
but it's confirmed on that website. Yeah.
Yes.
On that really random, here is the bio for Tamara Morrison. He's going to be Boba Fett. So and again, we're way jumping ahead, but speculation is speculation is that Tamara Morrison is Boba Fett coming back for his armor to get it from Cobb Vanth. I don't know why he cares about the armor so much, but I mean, it's probably pretty beat up by now. But so yeah, I mean, Toro Calican, he's in the bar. He's in our classic Mos Eisley cantina. He's
in the bar. He's at a booth, sitting like someone at the booth.
Yeah, he's sitting like Han Solo.
Specific booth too. I mean, I'm pretty sure that is Han's booth.
That is the booth. Yeah, I mean, which is a travesty because
why
Toro Calican? Toro Calican's maybe the worst character in Star Wars history. I know there's some people out there that love Toro Calican, but
I don't know anyone who loves him, but
there's people out there that love him.
Short amount of time. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I just think it's I don't know if it's Jake Cannavale's delivery of lines. Maybe
I don't think he's the best actor.
It's all right. It's all right. We can't win them all. So, anyways, it's interesting because he is trying to get in the guild. So he is going after Fennec Shan,
dangerous,
who is an assassin, basically. Yeah. She's a marksman, and the Mandalorian's like, "Are you crazy? Do you know who you're going after? I'm not helping you." And he starts to try and walk away, and Fennec Shan's like, Toro Calican's like, "I'll give you all the money. I'll give you all the money. I just need to get in the guild. I'll give you all the money from the bounty." He, for some reason, destroys the tracker. which I didn't understand that. If he's trying to get into the
I got it up
guild,
here. He said, "I got it."
yeah, but that's dumb. That's dumb. He says he's got it up here, but I mean, I didn't really understand that. Like,
I guess he was just trying. Well, I think what he was saying was he was destroying the tracker so that Mando didn't steal it and then do the job and then take his money.
Sure. I mean, I guess
that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because he's kind of a sleazy guy. I mean, he's supposed to be kind of Han Solo-y, but not the good part.
He's the worst parts of Han Solo. Toro Calican is the worst parts of Han Solo. So the Mando's like, I'll help you. You got to get 2 speeders. Meet me at docking bay 35, and I'll help you out because he needs the. I mean, the truth of the matter is he needs the money to fix the Razor Crest. I mean, otherwise,
2 speeders over. That's the good question.
How does what now?
How do you move 2 speeders across? I guess he had somebody to help him.
You don't need to overthink this.
Okay.
No, he rented them. He basically was like, "Hey, just drop these off for me," and at docking bay 35.
And he was ready.
And I remember back in my West End Star Wars days, I think speeders cost about 2,000 credits. Unless you wanted to get a nice one.
I can't help you and confirm that.
Unless you wanted to get a nice one and it was like 10,000 credits. But I think
pretty beat up speeders though.
I think you could get a speeder on Mos Eisley for about 2,000. That's my Star Wars role playing game days. I think that's the amount.
A land speeder. That's like Luke's.
Oh, that's true. You might be right. You might be right. That might be like the luxury kind that was like 10,000 though. Yeah. I don't know. But anyways,
these look pretty beat up. I actually looked at them this time. I was like, oh man, he got some pretty. I noticed he gave Mando the worst one too. He's like, here, take this.
Maybe it's like 100 credits an hour.
Yeah, it's a cheap rental.
You can rent it for 15 minutes and bring it right back.
So they, one thing Toro said is that and they got to throw out everything that she's heading to the Dune Sea. She's out by the Dune Sea. We want to at least have all these references that we possibly can. So,
good Lord, the references.
So we gotta have the Dune Sea reference. So he's out there. So they head out toward.
Before they leave, one important thing was that Peli, whatever her name is, Amy Sedaris' character, brought the child out, and he.
Oh right.
Toro kind of noticed it. He didn't really click in anything, but it did come. That will come into play later.
Oh well, yeah, and I forgot about that whole scene actually, where Baby Yoda
over edit for a minute, but he didn't.
This episode was Baby Yoda light. I mean, it had obviously Baby Yoda was in it, but it wasn't like the most. He was not the most important part of this particular episode.
Fine. I don't need Baby Yoda every time.
We don't need a Baby Yoda every time, but
it was really getting to see Mando in the field hunting down someone,
right?
Working through the desert, working with Tusken Raiders, as we'll bring up in a second.
Yes,
sign language. Yeah,
sign language with these Tuskens.
The sign language was interesting.
The Beskar saving him from that sniper bolt
a lot, but we even get to see a bantha. We see the bantha first, so this first appearance of a bantha in Mandalorian, and then we
back
and we see a dewback, and the only thing we didn't see is the skull of a crit dragon. That's the only thing we didn't get to see. We saw the dewback. They checked all the boxes. They were like bantha, dewback, no crit dragon though. Sorry, no, it's a bummer. But these 2 Tusken Raiders just show up out of nowhere,
as they do,
as per usual.
Yeah, and you notice they showed up as the guy had his binoculars on. Honestly, when I first watched this episode, I was like, "Oh no, they're gonna do that jump scare that they do in A New Hope,
right up in front."
But they didn't, as the Mandalorian just pointed them out to Calican.
Yeah, which I thought that was pretty funny because he obviously knew that they were there. I know, I did. You always got to cheer for the bantha, like Melissa says. I mean, you got to cheer for all the banthas. But
I guess so. Mando's been here before. Then, if he knows Tusken Raider language, or are they all over the?
Well, they could be off-world Tusken Raiders.
I'd say he's probably been to Tatooine before.
Okay.
Yeah, he seemed to go straight to Mos Eisley and He's
Yeah,
probably
he's
been to
kinda
Mos Eisley
Yeah,
before.
I mean, it's a wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, he knows.
He
Everybody
runs
knows.
that's where bounty hunters go.
They must, although they must not
Right.
though, because that the droid says the guild doesn't operate on Tatooine
Yeah.
anymore. So
Must be dried up now.
it's all the work's dried out.
Oh man,
Out in the outer rim, there's no bounty.
that's why Fennec Shan went there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I mean, we really don't get that much of a story as to why she's there.
Yeah, Mos Eisley doesn't even look that packed either. Actually you see R5D4 in there.
Yeah, that's right.
What's a droid doing in a bar, anyways? Are they getting like
it's
oil
the droid
or something?
from A New Hope.
It's the actual one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one from A New Hope that busts his whatever.
Yeah, his motivator or whatever.
This one's got a bad motivator.
He's got a bad motivator. He's very unmotivated.
Now he's spending his days at a bar. So
yeah, he's all spending his days. He's just going to get oil baths at a bar. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, like you said, there weren't really many people hanging out in the bar. I mean, yeah. So Tatooine's not doing well financially. It looks like. I mean, it looks like people. It's not as robustly populated as it once was.
That's because there's no more huts. There's no more game. There's no more.
There's no income.
There's no pod. What was the game? The racing game in episode.
Pod racing.
Pod racing.
Pod racers. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like all the business is dried up. There's no gambling.
There's no huts. What are they going to do? I mean,
no gambling. No spice running. There's
moisture evaporating only evaporators.
Yeah, that doesn't pay the bills. But
where's Watto when you need him?
I know, right? I mean, even Watto's gone.
What's going on here?
The bustling community of Mos Eisley is done with. Although we don't get to see Mos Espa, but it is mentioned.
Yes.
Fennec Shan mentions that she is going to Mos Espa for whatever reason.
I did like the bike riding through the desert. I thought that was
cool. It looked great. I mean, all of it, everything in this episode was really great looking. I liked all of that part. I mean, so back to the Tusken Raiders, they do the sign language and give them the binoculars, and of course we get to see whiny Toro about his binoculars. They just bought those. Oh God, dude, that character.
You got something out for him. You named yourself after him, Mikey.
I know.
You're part of his family.
I'm the better Calican. I'm the much better Calican. But anyways, so they then go on their journey. Basically, the Tusken Raiders let them through their land. That was apparently a big deal.
They found the body. They found the body by a dewback, right?
Yeah. Which was I've always figured. I mean, they didn't say it, but I always figured that was kind of a trap because she was clearly there waiting with the sniper. She knew that people were after her.
Yeah, she knew people were after her. Yeah, she definitely had the high ground.
yeah. They mentioned that. Another reference. There you go.
Another reference to the high ground. So yeah, I mean, they take off like Earl mentioned that doing the desert scenes with the speeders. Very cool looking. I mean, all of it looked really, really good. I liked all of those scenes, and they were using flares basically to.
That was cool. That was really neat.
Carnivalian. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah, I appreciate that, Melissa. I am the best Carnivalican. I think I even said that right, Carnivalican.
You did say it right. That was impressive.
So using flares was a good idea. Obviously, they knew.
It was very using what they had.
Yeah.
Are very resourceful.
Yes. Yeah. Or she still shot him.
Yeah, but he's got Beskar. I mean, he's got Beskar. But Toro doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean. It was very clear that the Mandalorian didn't necessarily care if Toro got killed or not. I mean, he could really care less.
He just wanted that cash.
He was going to get the money either way.
Yeah, he could care less about the well-being of Toro. In fact, he tried to get Toro to, once they get to and he used Toro as a as bait, basically, to trick Fennec Shan. She was doing, and he was actually, I felt like Toro was kind of holding his own in the fisticuffs that he and Fennec Shan were getting in.
Okay with her, yeah.
I thought he was kind of okay with that. I mean,
she got the final drop on him and had him in that chokehold, but that's when Mando.
Right. Thanks
Side
for the
note,
distraction. Yeah.
During that fight, the music very much made me go, "Am I watching Tenet?" It was very, very, very Tenet-esque during that fight.
The music was cool, I thought.
Yeah.
It was different.
I mean, each episode seems to have sort of a different vibe to it from a score standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very intentional. I mean, obviously
Goranson he has a huge range in what he does.
Dude can play any instrument. It seems like. I mean, yeah, he's uses
the up and comer for sure.
And if you watched that, I guess it was a YouTube video that was released on Star Trek or Star Wars.com. I don't know what happened there. StarWars.com, where it was sort of like almost like a music video of him doing some of the music from The Mandalorian. It was pretty cool. I think it's on their YouTube page. You can go over there and look at it, but it shows this like big, crazy looking technology that he uses to do some of the music. He's so talented. He deserved the Emmy for sure, and deserved his Oscar that he got.
I'm glad he won for that.
Yeah, I mean,
the music is awesome.
I mean, that's probably like the
and
biggest
his Grammy.
He's got the Grammy, the Emmy, the Oscar. Like you said, he's almost got Tony. Almost got the EGOT. He needs that Tony.
He can do it. He's a music guy. He can do it.
We'll brainstorm that Star Wars musical or Mandalorian musical.
I've seen a Star Wars one-man show before. That's almost like a musical. At one of the celebrations, there was a guy that was doing like a Star Wars one-man show where
I kind of remember something like that.
Yeah, it was
on the list.
It was pretty fun. It was actually really fun. So they do get the drop on Fennec Shan, which is a shame. I mean, she's more of an assassin from a long range, although it was cool to get to see Ming-Na Wen do some martial arts. She's obviously very talented at doing that type of stuff. So she got to showcase some of her martial arts skills, which I like.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, very much. Yeah. And they go ahead.
You could kind of tell at the end of the fight when she goes down, she was kind of okay with being arrested. I mean, she didn't really resist after Mando was like, cuff yourself essentially. Or go
right. I mean, there probably wasn't much that she could really do.
But I think she's immediately thinking about how she can manipulate Toro.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. You look at the guy and you know he's an idiot. So, I mean, it's easy. They're like, yeah, I'll tell.
Can, of course.
His name precedes him. So, Mando, probably having the right idea, recommends that Toro go get the dewback. But Toro, being an idiot, does not.
You're not going to take my money,
Peter.
Yeah, you're not taking my money. I'm gonna stay here with the bounty. You go get the dewback. And Mando begrudgingly acquiesces that. I mean, I don't think he was like gung ho about having to do that, but I think he saw the writing on the wall that it was just going to be an argument. So he just went. He just went and got the dewback and was gone long enough for Fennec Shan to manipulate her.
Your lesson of the episode is don't argue with stupid people.
That's true. I mean, because you'll just go round and round. So you might as well.
I tell you, it doesn't work.
Yeah, he's just So that was a like you mentioned, Garrison. Fennec knew right away that she could manipulate Toro just with basically telling him the lay of the land.
Yeah. Well, she told him about the child, right? Didn't she?
She told him that there was a special package that somebody the whole galaxy was looking for. Basically,
she also said his armor was worth more than her alone.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's piling up. With how
there
much
was a lot of
things,
there was a lot of layers to it. I mean, she mentioned that somebody had turned on the guild, so she mentioned that aspect. Right. Mentioned the Beskar, mentioned
had a child or something.
Mentioned the package that everybody was looking for. I don't think she knew that it was the child per se, but she mentioned the package. I don't think she mentioned that it was specifically this child.
I thought she did because I thought he stopped and went. I thought there was a little look he gave, like he was processing it in his bad acting that he was saying.
The only bad thing is that I watched it this morning and I don't remember exactly.
So maybe not. Maybe not. It was. I was falling asleep at that part for some reason. I watched it really late last time.
So yeah, I mean, she easily manipulated the guy, but not really, I guess, in his mind.
Yeah, because he turns it around.
He turns it around and shoots her in the stomach. Yeah. At really close range. At like really, really close range.
He's pretty much like, I don't need you. Thanks for all the information. I'm just going to go get my money.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was interesting that he...
Smart Calican.
Yeah. I think okay, I'll say this, conniving Calican. I don't think smart per se. I'll say conniving Calican.
Because he who wouldn't want to be a legend is what he says right before he kills him.
Right, who wouldn't want to be a legend because now in his mind he's going to go take down the Mandalorian. Yeah. I mean, which would make him a legend.
Who I just realized I looked down at my notes before he goes to the dewback, he tells Toro that she's no good to us dead, which, as someone who just came back from Empire, is a reference to Empire. Yes, to Bulba said he's no good to me dead.
He's no good to me dead. Yeah, he's no good to me dead. So wait, did the Empire you have the dubbing of Tim Morrison?
Tamara Morrison or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's unfortunate. Anyways, I get it, but it's unfortunate. I miss the old Empire with the original voiceover.
It's still around if you know where to find it. But
I think I've got it somewhere. I've got it on a hard drive somewhere, I think. So yeah, I mean, I thought that was interesting. Shoots her, doesn't have any qualms about killing her. Wants to be famous at this point because he's going to go track down, and he's long gone once the Mandalorian gets back to that spot. So question, do you think
I thought Mandalorian, does he come back? I don't even remember.
He comes back to where with the dewback. He comes back to that spot and he sees Fennec Shand on sees her body. So, do you think that it's interesting that he didn't even go check and see if she was alive, or do you think that he's just like, well, she's obviously dead?
I think the prescient thing is that he realizes that Toro's probably gone for the child, and that at this point he needs to go back there and protect the cub.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the lone wolf and cub thing. Yeah, exactly. This episode he really did not do a great job of making sure that the cub was
on the ship, and then
he
with this random mechanic. I was like,
yeah, he's a little too trusting there.
Yeah, I think he'll change his ways, obviously, as the the journey continues. But
it's walk off the ship. It's like...
So he gets back to
it makes a really scary noise before he gets off the ship. But
and that almost harkened back to when Obi-Wan makes that noise in A New Hope.
Yeah,
it sounded similar, at least.
It did. It sounded like the sound he makes.
Maybe that's a Jedi thing.
Well, it was the sound that Obi-Wan was trying to make was that of a krayt dragon that he knows the Tusken Raiders are afraid of. So I would think I think Baby Yoda was just trying to make a noise to sort of scare who he didn't know, because Baby Yoda didn't know what he was about to go into. So he was just trying to make a Jedi noise of some noise of some type to thwart anybody from thinking.
Yeah. The most likely thing that happened is the guys went, hey, let's use a scary noise from A New Hope.
It sounded really close. I don't know if it was. They've changed that noise so many times, though, over the years that who knows if it's which one that they were really using with that. I think, what is it, Matt? Who's the sound guy?
Ben Burtt?
No, the newer guy that did General Grievous's voice. Matt Smith, not Matt Smith. It's Matt somebody that does all the sound. He does all the sound stuff now for Lucasfilm that Ben Burtt used to do. He has changed that sound a lot.
Matthew Wood.
Matthew Wood. That's who I'm talking about. Yeah. He's changed that original sound. It's not the very first sound that they used when Empire came out. The historians will know that, but it sounds a little bit different now. So he gets back to the docking bay 35 as fast as he can on a dewback. I'm assuming a dewback does not move very quickly. Every dewback,
I was thinking it's got to be
every dewback that we've ever seen, they're sort of just lumbering along. Yeah. They're not moving very quickly at all.
Way to those.
Yeah, I mean that the Dune Sea to where Mos Eisley is. I mean, distances have never been a thing in Star Wars, anyways. Everybody can always get to wherever they need to be. That's why it's fiction. That's why it's fiction. That's why
Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's very Game of Thrones. Everybody can get to where they need to be in the time of the episode takes. Because that's how it works. That's how storytelling works. You don't have to be exact with the distances. Right. Hurricane Red
is taking a week to get all the way back to.
Hurricane Red is very concerned all the time about distances and how long it takes people to do things.
Unless you're a show like 24, which takes place in real time.
Right, which takes place. Exactly. Who cares? It doesn't mess up the story for me at all.
So then he gets there, and of course, Toro has Peli, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And the child. He's got him. Mm-hmm. He's holding them at gunpoint, as we expect.
So here's what I'm confused about with the child. We obviously know that the child can use the Force. Why isn't he intervening at all? Like in any of this?
I think
maybe he doesn't realize the threat. I don't know.
He's still a kid.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, that species is really bad about knowing threats are right in front of them. Yoda was not good about knowing that Palpatine was right in front of his face for a really long time. The dark side clouds everything.
maybe Yoda knows presciently that the Mando is going to manage things.
Yeah, the Mando's got it.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously the Mando has.
I'm just going along with Earl here.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's just based on how they write it, but.
So Toro, I don't even think Toro gets off a shot, does he? I mean,
he puts his hands up, but he's got a flash thing or whatever. Oh, yeah. She comes over. Peli comes over to like cuff him, and he's got his hands, and she goes, "Oh, you've got something."
Yeah, Melissa makes a good point. I mean, I don't remember the last time he had to use the Force that we saw, but he might be recharging, but I don't think he's
been since episode 2.
Well, he did have to that loud noise. That loud noise might have taken something out of him.
Do the magic hand thing.
Do the magic hand thing. Yeah,
that's all I got.
Do the magic hand thing.
But I mean, that lady comes over and she's like, "Oh, you've got a flash grenade." I was like, "Shh, quiet."
Oh, I know. She was like,
it was like kind of loud. I was like, "Wow."
Yeah. So
she's probably not been involved in a lot of conflict on.
No, she's a mechanic. She doesn't have to worry about that stuff usually. I mean, because obviously the guild doesn't operate on Mos Eisley anymore. Mos Eisley is almost like a peaceful place.
It's a peaceful planet.
It's like all of a sudden Tatooine is no longer,
especially after Anakin came in and slaughtered all of the sand people.
Right.
Those were the only 2 left. They were like,
those are the only people left.
Tatanka.
It's no longer a wretched hive of scum.
Yeah, why didn't Anakin just do some sign language at the sand?
I mean, he should have. He did some sign language, all right.
Anger issues, very big anger issues.
I hate them. So he does the flash grenade, goes off to the side, he shoots Toro. That's pretty much the end of him, right? Is that
Toro's done.
He's dead. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
A dying.
But I mean, that cut to. I mean, once the child is back safe, and that part of the episode,
we see the child peek around the corner.
We see the child peek around the corner, and then cut to these famous or not famous. We don't really know these boots walking towards Fennec Shan's body
with spurs.
So you think that's Boba Fett?
Well, I just heard somebody say that because of the Spurs that they speculate.
Did Boba Fett have Spurs?
Here's the thing. I think he does. Pretty sure.
Really?
At least Dad.
I don't remember.
Dad kept telling me
the guy you're talking about, Cobb Vanth.
Well, I mean, if he's got the whole get up, I mean, it could be Cobb Vanth, it could be Timothy Oliphant. Cobb Vanth, he's the sheriff of Freetown, which we don't necessarily know how close Freetown is to the Dune Sea, but most sheriffs like to make sure that they're aware of everything going around their area. So I don't know. I'm still not fully convinced we're going to get to see Boba Fett in the show.
The actual Boba Fett?
The actual Boba Fett. Maybe we'll see the armor, but I don't know.
Yeah, I watched one of these YouTube explaining videos about the show, sort of in prep work, like one of these I don't know. Here's all the Easter egg kind of shows. And this one guy was speculating. He goes, now I may be wrong, but I think this is Boba Fett because of the Spurs. He said, now the armor is going to be chewed up from all the acid from the Sarlacc pit.
Unless it was Beskar.
Wow.
Maybe Beskar.
Is it Beskar?
No, I don't.
I think it looks like.
I don't think Boba Fett's armor is Beskar.
Yeah, it looks like the other armor that the Mandalorian had earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, Boba Fett, he got that armor. We don't know the story of how Boba Fett got his armor.
No, he just took it off his dad's dead body.
Well, no, his dad's armor was a different color.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
he could have, but we don't know.
Weathered it, spray painted it.
We don't know the full story. I mean, we know Boba Fett's not a true Mandalorian. He's just got this armor.
Yeah.
So there's no honor. Boba Fett is not an honorable type of guy.
No.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't be a good guy if he came up on the show.
No, because he's had a rough go of it. I mean, we know through the Clone Wars animated series that he sort of grew up in the guild in a way. He was criminals. He was around criminals, his whole life basically.
Was he around Aura Singh or whatever her name is? There seems like there was a famous.
Well, I mean, Bosk was around with him.
That's right.
I got to see Bosk tonight.
Yes, you did. Cad Bane. Bane was around. I mean, there were several episodes where there was all of these guys running together basically. There was the guy that threw his hat around like he was Odd Job. I can't remember what that character's name was, but he was cool. He had this awesome hat that he would throw.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't remember his name though. But yeah, I mean, I can't remember if Aura Singh was around. I think she was actually in the Clone Wars. I think she was portrayed in the Clone Wars for a couple episodes.
Somebody like that, like a female sniper type with like.
Yeah, no. I think you're right.
Maybe I don't know. I just remembered like there was a team.
So I mean, assuming this is Boba Fett, I mean, Fennec Shand, we don't really know if she's dead or not. I've heard rumors that she's coming back in season 2, but
I'd be surprised. I mean,
I would be too, but it's a bummer.
Point blank.
It's a bummer that Ming-Na Wen wouldn't.
Maybe she's got Beskar right here, like Carl Weathers did.
That's right. She's got like one little cube of Beskar. Yeah.
They'll flash back when she comes back and show her it only getting hit there and her getting up later.
Exactly. So that pretty much is it for the Gunslinger. I mean, a lot happened. We learned
it was a filler episode. Some people, so watching like other reviews from that season, like from last year, some people were like, "This is a filler episode."
Well, I mean, a lot of people said that about the previous episode too,
and they say it about the next episode,
and they say it about the prison episode also. I mean, I think that the thing to do when you're rewatching these is trying to pick up on anything that maybe you can get. That's important. I mean, maybe it won't end up coming up, but Tatooine being guild free could be important. It might not be. I mean, I don't know. Like the bounty hunting isn't going on out in that area of space anymore.
Yeah,
that could be something that comes up again.
I think obviously that reveal. Whenever that reveal happens, whoever was on Tatooine is going to be important to the show at some point.
Yeah, I think so. Also, I think we're going to be back on Tatooine for season 2.
Yeah,
at some point. So I think it's, yeah, I think that's important. Also, I think Tatooine in general is going to continue to be important. I mean, Melissa says a lot of people thought it fell flat and was boring. I think all of them are important if you're looking for the right stuff. See, exactly. No, I totally agree.
It's fun to watch, she says. I think,
and it's fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, I
thought it was a fun episode.
I like all these episodes, even though I'm joking kind of about Toro Calican. I think that
I don't know if you are, Mikey.
You know, I mean, he's an okay character, but he's dead, so we don't have to worry about him anymore. We don't have to worry about the Cala clan.
Canavella clan or whatever it was.
It's more like Calicant. That's how
Cannavale can. Anyway,
exactly. Jake Cannavale. So yeah, I think it was a fine episode. I think that we'll be back on Tatooine in season 2 to figure out who that guy was that walked up to Fennec Shan's body. I think that obviously, I think that everybody now, especially, is going to be looking. We know everybody is looking for the child. That was another important thing. I mean, Fennec Shan, giving that information to Toro, like everybody is looking for this child.
What?
Like, what now?
Not seen any of the prequels?
No, that's okay.
It's okay.
They're good.
Sorry, as someone who grew up with the prequels, I just it's surprising.
Oh, yeah, no, they're good, Melissa. I think at some point you should watch them, but I mean,
you look. Phantom Menace is probably my least favorite Star Wars film.
What's your favorite prequel?
Probably Episode 3. It's also the one I have the most memories of going to see.
I would agree with that.
But when I was growing up, I don't know. I just found Phantom Menace to be kind of boring sometimes.
I like a lot of Phantom Menace just because I like Liam Neeson so much, and I think Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor play really well off of each other.
Duel of Fate scene is awesome.
And that fight scene at the end is amazing. Which I had to listen to that music so much because I was working at a Blockbuster at the time.
Oh, nice.
And I know I've told that story on the podcast before, but I was working at a Blockbuster, and we had at that time they would send around a cassette tape, a VHS, of just promo stuff that you'd have to play in the store. And that movie had just come out, and they sent an actual sort of like a music video of John Williams doing that song. So there was like an orchestra or whatever, and it was on a loop. And so I heard it a lot, but it never changed my mind about how cool that whole scene was. I mean, I was a Star Wars fan, still am a Star Wars fan, so I loved seeing that stuff all the time. And I think music plays a really important part and still does in everything Star Wars. I mean, it truly is, as Dave Collins says, the oxygen of Star Wars.
The score for Episode 3 is probably my favorite score of the prequels too.
Yeah, no, I mean all
three really has some gravitas to it, and it's, you feel it. It's like a gut punch as things start to devolve. But
yeah, I mean, and that one is PG-13, and it like there's some stuff in there that young kids probably should not see.
What I was, I don't know, 7 when I went. Oh, I wasn't even 7. I was like 6.5 when I went to go see it when it came out, and my dad put his hand over my eyes when Anakin was burning up.
Dude, I mean that seems intense. I've got a 9-year-old, and she hasn't. I don't showed her that part yet.
I don't know how old I was when I saw it, but it was it was a moment.
Yeah, for sure. I think that wraps us up for this particular episode. You can always check out the podcast at thedeucecast.com, or you can go to retrozap.com. We're part of the Retrozap network over there, and we release a weekly podcast. If you're somehow seeing this and you're not aware of the podcast, we release a weekly podcast, comes out every Wednesday morning on just random movie topics that all genres, anything and everything we talk about. And next week we're really...
You can hear Mikey's love for Care Bears.
Exactly. This past week we released a classic episode where I talked about Care Bears, Nutcracker,
I forgot about that one.
It was a good episode. It was a great episode. And you get to hear Pinky on that episode.
Yes, you do.
Pinky, who we don't know where he is. I think he's back in the United States, isn't he?
I saw him at Publix the other day.
You saw him at Publix the other day. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be part of this anymore.
He doesn't want to be a part of this anymore. Yeah, it's understandable.
I don't know if that's true, but
so yeah, but
yeah.
please do check us out on the Deucecast.com. Check it. If you've got your favorite podcatcher, just subscribe to the Deucecast. We'd love for you to listen to our podcast episode, but we also would love to hear about what you think about the YouTube show we're doing. The best thing with YouTube to help us get seen is to subscribe to the channel first and foremost. Like the episode, make comments, on the episode. That always helps as well. And then share it out there on social media. That'll help us as well. I mean, we're trying to sort of get this. We've sort of got a game plan of what we're going to be doing next. I mean, obviously, we're going to be doing Mandalorian season 2 next. Mm-hmm. But then right after that, we're going to do WandaVision. And
wow.
Yeah. So I think, well, my guess is they're going to drop that in December. So there won't be too much of a break.
The source code of Disney Plus's website says November 27th, which is an overlap with Mandalorian.
Well, see, that's what's interesting. So Mandalorian, if we think it's going to be 8 episodes, that'd be close. I mean, yeah, that would be an overlap. So I hope they don't do that, actually, because that would complicate things a little bit for us. But...
Yeah, someone went on the code of their website. I mean, every website has an HTML thing. Yeah. And it said release date November 27th. Now
breaking news.
They haven't announced that, so that could always change. That may be a placeholder.
Yeah, not that IMDb knows anything ever, but IMDb says December 2020. It doesn't give an exact date.
I think it will come out in 2020, but very late.
I was thinking that it would probably come out right as season 2 of The Mandalorian ended. So
that would make sense.
They wouldn't necessarily want them to cross over, because if you're trying to keep subscribers, you got to make them. You got to give them some more stuff. If they're trying to make this thing more consistent, you do a Star Wars show. So what would that be, like the last week of December?
That would be Christmas Day.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do. I really feel like that's what they're going to do. Yeah,
well, will go all the way till Christmas, right?
It goes all the way till the 18th, I think, if we're counting them correctly.
So, and then if they stick with their Friday release schedule, like they do with most of their shows, then they just drop WandaVision the very next week.
It'd be a good Christmas present.
That'd be awesome. I'd be all in. So that would take us into January, which, we're going to do Cobra Kai season 3, but we're going to do it a little bit differently, because it's a Netflix show.
We're going to push that back a little bit.
We're going to push it back a little bit because it's a Netflix show. We do have the luxury of being able to watch that however we want to.
Yeah.
It's a bingeable type situation, but we're not going to necessarily do that. We're going to wait till WandaVision's over and then start, even though it's been out for a while, then start season 3 of Cobra Kai and just do our watch in that way, and weekly until whatever the next show is, which I guess would be Falcon and Winter Soldier would probably be.
And they're doing pickups right now.
Yeah, so they're actually really close to being done with that.
Yeah.
So I would think that would probably be available for us if the way we're going to
it'll be early 2020, I'd guess.
It'll be like March, which I think will work out for how we're going to be doing Cobra Kai season 3. It'll work out where we can jump right into. It'll be close.
Though there have been a lot of rumors that they want it to be after Black Widow. So
yeah, but who the crap knows when Black Widow is going to come out anymore? I mean, what is it? It's March. Is it March or May?
May, I think.
Yeah, I think they did May. I mean, they
want what, the Winter Soldier one to be after, or
that's what I've seen on the internet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's some sort of I'm not going to get into it because it might get into spoilers, but there's some sort of reveal they want to go into, and then keep going into it with that.
Yeah,
and then expand from there.
That makes sense. I mean, that could be what they do. So we'll see. I mean, we're gonna have a little bit of a break, I think. In November anyway. Well, maybe not.
No.
Maybe not. The Deucecast Extra is just going to go strong every week. We're here for it. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to make it happen.
We may be doing double shifts. We might have to.
No, we're not going to. I don't. That's not that. That is what I don't want to do.
And then we'll do
we're going to avoid having to do that unless
the source code. It said November.
unless the source code's
that could
right.
change. That could change.
Unless the source code's right and it's November 27th. I'm hoping that it's like the day after Mandalorian season 2 ends, they start WandaVision. That's what I'm hoping for. That'd be awesome. But we'll see. So, anyways, please like, subscribe, share, comment, and we will see you next week for the Prisoner episode. I believe is how that works.
Yeah.
We're watching The Prisoner.
No, we're not watching it. That is a great show. That is a great show, by the way. The original Prisoner, not that stupid remake that they did, but the original one. Anyways, so exactly. Thank you, Finnick Earl. Thank you, Pit Droid Ryfin. This is Mikey Calican saying this is the way.